just got to win this football game. I don't care about anything but winning this football game because nothing matters if you don't.
Is that difficult to focus on?
No, it's AFC North football. It's the last game of the year at home, and so no, it's 100% focused on the job at hand.
All right, and coming up in a little bit, Tunch will scout the Cincinnati Bengals for us. A lot has changed since the Steelers and Bengals met in Week 6, but let's take a look at the Steelers practice report for Thursday. A lot of the same names on here not practicing today. The bad news, Sean Davis and Vince Williams missing once again. Antonio Brown getting a coach's day / knee injury, not practicing for the second day in a row. Ramon Foster, a coach's decision. Ben and Marquise Pouncey back at practice after taking Wednesday off for a coach's decision. And then the good news, James Conner, full participant for the second day in the row. He seems to be trending in the right direction. And joining me now to talk about all of that and much more is Bob Labriola. So what do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with James Conner. I mean, I agree with you that the fact that he has been a full participant 2 days in a row, able to stack practices, I think, is a very good sign, for his availability on Sunday. Mike Tomlin is known as a guy who wants his younger players to practice, and the ability to practice on consecutive days shows that James Conner didn't really have any adverse effects after Wednesday's full practice. He was able to participate fully today, and so I think, to use a Mike Tomlinism, his arrow is definitely pointing up. The other, and I'm just going to temper maybe something that people might perceive as bad news. I'm not ready to give up on Sean Davis and/or Vince Williams just yet. I think both of those guys have been around enough, have played enough football this season where they could participate even in a limited basis tomorrow on Friday, and then still have a chance to be able to get a helmet on Sunday and then see how it goes from there. So we'll have to see how that works out. And then the coach's decision, guys, I think we'll be fine.
All right, we'll check back tomorrow. Of course, that's when the status report comes out for the Steelers following an earlier practice on Friday. And the Steelers have voted the players themselves for the 2018 team MVP. It has been announced it's second-year wide receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster. And Labs, I know this is one of those things a lot of people like to talk about. Who would you vote for, this and that? And you did some research,
yeah, I know,
to maybe put in perspective if anybody is not exactly okay with this decision.
Well, yeah, I mean, MVP in every sport, what does valuable mean? Is that the best player on the best team? Is it, what does valuable mean? Is valuable synonymous with indispensable? What are the categories? And I think that what we all need to understand is, the definition of the word, the meaning of the award, all of that stuff really only is significant in terms of the people in that locker room who are voting for it. Two things I've always believed about elections. Number one, just because it's an election, the definition of an election is it's a popularity contest because you vote for who you like. That's just the way it's gone in the history of the world. So there's that. And the other thing about elections in my mind is I think that the outcome of an election often tells us more about the people who are doing the voting than it does the candidates who are involved. And so we don't know what goes on in the locker room, what those Steelers players value from a teammate to get an award such as this. And, the media outrage to me is just comical. I mean, it really is. Oh dear, Ben has only won the Steelers MVP award once. Well, here's a few names for you who have also only won it once. Franco Harris, Troy Polamalu, Mel Blount, and a guy named Joe Green. Gee. A guy who never won it, Jack Ham. Another guy who never won it, Lynn Swann. So, you look at the history of this award. They voted for a place kicker once, but Jack Ham never won it. So Gary Anderson and Joe Green have won the same number of Steelers MVP awards. What does that mean? I don't know. I just think that what it means to me is that whatever a particular group of players finds value in from a teammate in a particular year, they get a vote. It's not a referendum on the guy's value to that particular team. It's not a referendum on the guy's value to the franchise or his place in NFL history or any of that stuff. So, you know, get over it. You know, JuJu wins the award, good for him. If there was such a thing as a most indispensable player, Ben would get my vote. That's what I have to say about that.
All right. Well, we did have a chance to catch up with offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner to get his take on number 19.
Very consistent. Very consistent. He's been, he battled through injury, you know, because he's had them, you know, on again, off again all year. He's learned how to be a pro, and I think his teammates realize that about him. And, you know, he's brought a lot of energy to our group.
All right, and JuJu Smith-Schuster is holding his press conference to talk about the team MVP. As we speak, we will have that posted for you in its entirety later tonight. We're going to take a quick break. Labs, thanks for joining me. Up next, Tunch with his Sirius XM scouting report.
Anytime you get a running quarterback, you know, and he can throw the ball too. But his legs get him out of trouble a lot, and so you got to be careful in your rush lanes when you're rushing him. You got to be careful in terms of how you play him in coverage, because he can break out there in 3rd and 3 or something like that and get the first down.
All right, just a mini scouting report on the Bengals offense from defensive coordinator Keith Butler today. But joining me now is Tunch Ilkin with the Sirius XM scouting report.
Well, Missi, when you look at the Cincinnati Bengals offensively, they are not scary. They were kind of scary last time, but they've got a lot of injuries. They've actually been devastated by injuries. Gone is A.J. Green, their great wide receiver. Gone is Tyler Eifert, their #1 and great tight end. #2 tight end, Tyler Kroft, is also gone. Their quarterback, Andy Dalton, is gone, and possibly no Tyler Boyd. He is dinged up. When you look at their offense, it starts and finishes with Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is tough, boy. He's got a great jump cut. He is a very physical runner. He runs angry, does a great job of finding the hole, and then when he finds the hole, Missi, he gets into the secondary in a hurry. He's very fast. He's very strong, he's very quick, and watch the jump cuts. I mean, he literally shakes guys out of their shoes. He's also good out in space, and he's going to catch the ball. They want to get the ball in his hands, whether it's from handoffs, whether it's flare passes, screen passes. They want to get the ball in his hands. You see him running away from the Cleveland Browns defense right there. And one thing you watch in the outside zone, watch the way he cuts right behind the center and takes it into the secondary. You know, their quarterback, because Andy Dalton is hurt, is Jeff Driscoll. And you heard Keith Butler, defensive coordinator, talking about Jeff Driscoll. He's a great athlete, doesn't have the strongest arms, rather. A lot of his throws kind of hang a little bit, but he can tuck it and run. He's very athletic. He does the checkdowns well. He wants to throw the ball in between the numbers because I don't think he's got the number or he's got the arm strength to throw it outside the numbers. You know, he keeps it close. And one of the things that you'll notice about him is when he doesn't like what he sees, he's going to tuck it and run. He is a scrambler. Now, he's not the best at the option. You'll notice that they don't run a lot of read option, but he will take it, and they have some design runs for him. And if you break down the pocket, he's going to tuck it and run. On the defensive side of the ball, you know, our good friend Vontaze Burfict just had his 7th concussion, so he might not play. You look at the defensive line, and obviously it's Geno Atkins. Geno Atkins is still, you know, he doesn't play every down like he used to. They spell him a little bit more, but he's still got 10 sacks. And then you look at Carlos Dunlap, the left defensive end. Now, they'll move him both sides. Sometimes what they're trying to do is get him away from the tight end. They want to get him to the weak side because he's much better rushing directly on the offensive tackle. Andrew Billings has done a pretty good job playing the run. But really, Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap are the two guys you got to block. Rookie Hubbard, Sam Hubbard has been playing more, and he does a really nice job rushing the passer. He has 7 sacks. Most of his sacks are effort sacks. He's got a great motor. He keeps running, and he gets to the ball. With all their injuries at the linebacker position, the guy that I've been a fan of for years and years and years, because he's always stepped in and done a great job, is Vincent Ray. Back in the days of Ray Maualuga, when he was hurt, Vincent Ray would stop it. Burfict, when he was either hurt or suspended, Vincent Ray would step in and do a great job. And he's staying, he's getting a little long in the tooth, but he is steady and he just makes plays. So that's my scouting report on the Cincinnati Bengals. They are not nearly as scary as they were last time we played, as you pointed out, Missi, week 6.
All right, Tunch, thank you so much for that. For our Steelers Nation Unite members, today our keyword is Unite. So you can head to SteelersNationUnite.com, enter the keyword Unite to earn your extra yards for joining us today. That is going to do it for us here at Steelers Live. For Labs and Tunch, I'm Missy. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m.